Long before becoming one of the most recognizable voices in American politics, long before serving in the United States Senate, Lindsey Graham was simply a small-town boy growing up in central South Carolina. His name is Lindsey Graham. He was born on July 9, 1955. His childhood was far from wealthy. His parents, Florence James Graham and Millie Walters Graham, worked incredibly hard every single day. They owned a small family business, part restaurant, part bar, part pool hall. It wasn't a glamorous business, but it provided enough for the family to survive. The restaurant became the center of Lindsey's childhood. After school, instead of spending afternoons playing games, he helped his parents, cleaning tables, serving customers, stocking supplies, washing dishes, taking out trash, learning responsibility long before most children his age. His parents believed in one simple lesson: nothing in life comes without hard work. Every dollar had to be earned. Every customer deserved respect. Every task mattered. Those early experiences shaped Lindsey's character. He learned discipline, patience, responsibility, and how difficult it is to run a small business. Watching his parents work long hours taught him lessons no classroom could provide. The Graham family wasn't rich. They couldn't afford luxury vacations, expensive cars, or large homes. Everything they owned came from sacrifice. Lindsey understood that success required effort. As he grew older, he also became very close to his younger sister, Darline. Like many older brothers, he naturally became protective. He never imagined that role would soon become much bigger. Then life changed forever. While Lindsey was still a young man, his mother became seriously ill. Doctors diagnosed her with Hodgkin lymphoma, a form of cancer. The family fought desperately, but despite treatment, she passed away. The loss devastated everyone. The emotional pain was overwhelming. Yet an even greater tragedy followed only months later. His father also died unexpectedly. Within a very short period, Lindsey lost both parents. He was only in his early 20s. Suddenly everything changed. The young man who had been planning his future now faced responsibilities few people his age could imagine. His younger sister still needed someone. She needed guidance, support, protection, family. Lindsey made a decision that would define the rest of his life. He refused to let his sister face the world alone. Instead of thinking only about himself, he became her legal guardian. He took responsibility for raising her, helping her finish school, providing stability during one of the darkest periods of their lives. Friends later recalled how quickly Lindsey matured. He had no choice. Bills had to be paid, important decisions had to be made. Someone had to become the adult. That person became Lindsey. Many people facing such tragedy would have given up. Some would have allowed grief to control their lives. Lindsey chose a different path. He transformed pain into motivation. Instead of letting hardship destroy his future, he used it to build one. Those difficult years taught him lessons that stayed with him forever. Life can change overnight. Nothing should ever be taken for granted. Responsibility comes before comfort. Family comes first. And real strength often appears during life's hardest moments. While balancing enormous personal responsibilities, Lindsey never abandoned his education. He continued studying, continued working, continued believing that a better future was possible. His determination impressed teachers, friends, neighbors. Many saw something unusual. The young man who had lost almost everything refused to lose hope. That resilience became one of the defining qualities of his personality. Years later, political opponents and supporters alike would often describe Lindsey Graham as remarkably persistent. Many believed that persistence had been forged during those painful years after losing both parents. The restaurant where he once washed dishes, the small town where everyone knew each other, the tragedy that forced him to grow up far too quickly, all became part of the foundation that shaped his future. The boy who had lost everything was about to begin building a life of public service, a journey that would eventually lead him to Washington, D.C., and to the United States Senate. After losing both of his parents, many people expected Lindsey Graham to give up on his dreams. Instead, he made a decision that would completely change his future. Education became his path forward. While caring for his younger sister, he continued working hard to earn a college degree. He enrolled at the University of South Carolina. Money was always limited. Life was far from easy. He balanced studies with family responsibilities. There were no shortcuts. Every exam, every class, every semester was another step toward building a better future. He graduated with a degree in psychology, but Lindsey wanted to do more. He believed the law could become a way to serve people, so he continued his education at the University of South Carolina School of Law. Law school demanded discipline, long nights, thousands of pages of reading, endless preparation, legal writing, courtroom simulations, constitutional law, criminal law, civil procedure, contracts. Every subject challenged him, but Lindsey had already survived challenges far greater than difficult exams. The hardships of his early life had taught him perseverance. In 1981, he earned his Juris Doctor J.D. degree. He had officially become a lawyer. For many graduates, that would have marked the beginning of a private legal career. Lindsey chose a different path. He wanted to serve his country. Soon after law school, he joined the United States Air Force. There he became a judge advocate, often called a military lawyer. His responsibilities were enormous. Military attorneys do much more than argue cases in court. They advise commanders, interpret military law, handle criminal investigations, review contracts, provide legal guidance during military operations, protect the rights of service members, and ensure justice within the armed forces. Lindsey quickly earned a reputation for professionalism. He prepared carefully, worked long hours, studied every case thoroughly. His military service strengthened many of the qualities that would later define his political career: discipline, leadership, organization, decision-making under pressure, respect for institutions, service before self. Even after leaving active duty, Lindsey continued serving in the United States Air Force Reserve for many years. Eventually rising to the rank of colonel, his military experience became one of the strongest foundations of his public career. It also shaped many of his views on national security, foreign policy, military readiness, and support for American service members. While building his legal career, Lindsey gradually became interested in public service. He believed laws could improve people's lives, but writing better laws required good leaders. Friends encouraged him to run for office. At first, politics seemed uncertain. Campaigns required money, time, public speaking, and constant interaction with voters. Nothing was guaranteed. Still, Lindsey believed he could make a difference. He knocked on doors, met local families, visited businesses, spoke with veterans, teachers, farmers, small business owners. He listened more than he talked. People noticed his work ethic, his honesty, his willingness to answer difficult questions. Eventually, he decided to run for the South Carolina House of Representatives. It was his first major political campaign. He wasn't the wealthiest candidate. He wasn't the most famous, but he worked harder than almost anyone else. Day after day, he met voters across his district, explaining his ideas, answering concerns, sharing his vision, his military background and respect. His legal education built credibility. His personal story inspired many people. When election day arrived, the voters made the decision. Lindsey Graham won. For the first time, he became an elected public official. His journey from a small-town restaurant to the courtroom to military service had now led him into government, inside the South Carolina legislature. He quickly developed a reputation as someone who studied every issue carefully. He wasn't interested in empty speeches. He wanted practical solutions. He worked on issues involving public safety, economic development, government reform, education, and the legal system. Every year in state government taught him valuable lessons: how laws are written, how compromises are reached, how leadership requires patience, how difficult governing truly is. His reputation continued growing. Political leaders across South Carolina began noticing the young attorney with military experience and extraordinary determination. Few people realized it at the time, but these early years in state politics were only the beginning. The former military lawyer who had once struggled simply to support his family was preparing for something much bigger. Soon his ambition, his experience, and his relentless work ethic would take him from South Carolina to the United States Congress, and eventually to the United States Senate. By the early 1990s, Lindsey Graham had already earned a reputation as one of South Carolina's most hardworking public servants. His years as a military lawyer combined with his experience in the South Carolina House of Representatives had prepared him for something much bigger. Washington, D.C., the center of American politics, where decisions made every day affect hundreds of millions of people. In 1990, the political landscape in the United States changed dramatically. That year became known as the Republican Revolution. Across the country, Republican candidates won seats that had long been held by Democrats. Lindsey Graham decided it was his opportunity. He ran for the United States House of Representatives. The campaign required enormous effort, thousands of miles of travel, hundreds of speeches, community meetings, fundraising events, television interviews, meeting voters in small towns, large cities, schools, factories, churches, and veterans organizations. Lindsey presented himself as a conservative who believed in strong national defense, limited government, personal responsibility, and protecting American interests. Voters responded. He won the election. At just 39 years old, Lindsey Graham officially became a member of the United States Congress. For the first time, he entered the halls of the Capitol building, where some of the most important laws in American history had been written. For many new members of Congress, the first years are spent quietly learning. Lindsey quickly became active. He joined important committees, studied legislation in detail, asked difficult questions during hearings. His military background gave him credibility on defense issues. His legal education helped him understand constitutional law. His colleagues noticed his preparation. He rarely entered a meeting without reading every document. He believed facts mattered, preparation mattered, hard work mattered. Over the next several years, he won re-election again and again, building trust with voters in South Carolina. Then history changed everything. On September 11, 2001, the terrorist attacks against the United States shocked the entire world. Nearly 30 people lost their lives. America entered a new era. National security suddenly became one of the country's highest priorities. Lindsey Graham's military experience became even more valuable. He became deeply involved in discussions about military operations, counterterrorism, intelligence, and protecting the United States from future attacks. His views on national defense became widely known. He often argued that America needed a strong military, close international alliances, and decisive leadership during times of crisis. Then another enormous opportunity appeared. In 2002, longtime South Carolina Senator Strom Thurmond announced his retirement. The Senate seat was open, winning it would mean joining one of the most powerful legislative bodies in the world, the United States Senate. Lindsey decided to run. The campaign was intense. Statewide elections are far more difficult than congressional races. Millions of voters, endless travel, television debates, political advertisements, public appearances almost every day. He promised to protect South Carolina's interests, support the military, strengthen the economy, and defend the Constitution. Election day arrived. The people of South Carolina made their decision. Lindsey Graham won. In January 2003, he officially became a United States Senator, one of only 100 senators in the entire country. It was one of the greatest achievements of his career, but with greater power came greater responsibility. Inside the Senate, Lindsey focused on three major areas: national security, the federal judiciary, and foreign policy. These subjects would define much of his political life. He became a member of several influential Senate committees, including those responsible for military affairs, the federal court system. By the time Lindsey Graham had spent years in the United States Senate, he was no longer simply another senator. He had become one of the most influential Republican voices in Washington. His opinions carried weight, his votes mattered, his relationships reached the highest levels of American government. Inside the United States Senate, power is rarely measured by speeches alone. It is measured by committee assignments, negotiation skills, relationships, experience, and the ability to influence legislation. Over time, Lindsey earned positions on several of the Senate's most important committees. Committees responsible for the federal budget, the judiciary, military affairs, international relations, and national security. These committees shape some of the most important decisions in the United States. Every hearing, every investigation, every confirmation vote can affect the future of the country. Among his most influential roles, Lindsey eventually became chairman of the Senate's Judiciary Committee, one of the most powerful committee leadership positions in Congress. The Judiciary Committee oversees issues involving federal courts, constitutional law, civil liberties, immigration, the Department of Justice, and, perhaps most importantly, the confirmation of federal judges, including nominees to the Supreme Court of the United States. Very few senators ever have the opportunity to influence the American judicial system on such a massive scale. Lindsey did. He presided over nationally televised confirmation hearings, questioning nominees, reviewing legal records, debating constitutional interpretation, helping determine who would serve as federal judges for decades. Because federal judges often hold lifetime appointments, those decisions can influence American law for generations. Many political experts consider judicial appointments among the most important responsibilities of the Senate. Lindsey Graham became one of the central figures in that process. As his influence grew, he worked with multiple presidents. Each relationship was different, sometimes cooperative, sometimes deeply controversial. During the presidency of George W. Bush, Lindsey strongly supported military operations after the September 11 attacks. He advocated for strengthening national defense, supporting American troops, and combating international terrorism. When Barack Obama entered office, Lindsey occasionally worked with the administration on bipartisan issues, especially immigration reform, national security, and foreign policy. Although they often disagreed politically, he sometimes demonstrated a willingness to negotiate. That willingness earned both praise and criticism. Some conservatives admired his pragmatism. Others believed he compromised too often. Politics rarely satisfies everyone. Then came one of the most dramatic political eras in modern American history, the presidency of Donald Trump. During the early stages, their relationship appeared uncertain. Lindsey openly criticized some of Trump's statements during the 2016 presidential campaign. Television commentators frequently discussed their disagreements. Many observers believed they would never become close political allies. Politics, however, can change quickly. After Trump entered the White House, their relationship gradually evolved. Shared positions on judicial appointments, national defense, tax policy, and foreign affairs brought them closer together. Eventually, Lindsey Graham became one of President Trump's most loyal allies in the Senate. The partnership dramatically increased his national visibility. Together, they supported the confirmation of numerous federal judges, including several Supreme Court justices. These appointments reshaped the federal judiciary. Many legal scholars believe those confirmations will influence American law for decades. The confirmation hearings attracted worldwide attention. Millions of Americans watched them live. Every question, every answer, every vote became national news. Lindsey often found himself at the center of those historic moments. His leadership extended far beyond judicial issues. He remained deeply involved in foreign policy, traveling around the world, meeting presidents, prime ministers, military commanders, diplomats, and intelligence officials. He visited conflict zones, military bases, allied nations, discussing global security challenges. His military background gave him credibility during international discussions. Many foreign leaders viewed him as one of the Senate's strongest advocates for American alliances. Inside Washington, Lindsey also became known for his direct speaking style. Whether addressing reporters, questioning witnesses, or debating fellow senators, he rarely avoided controversial topics. Some admired his honesty, others criticized his positions, but almost everyone agreed on one point: he was impossible to ignore. Throughout his career, Lindsey participated in many of the biggest political debates of the 21st century: national security, immigration, health care, government spending, military funding, Supreme Court nominations, foreign wars, constitutional issues. Nearly every major political controversy eventually reached the Senate floor, and Lindsey Graham was often one of the leading voices. His influence extended beyond legislation. Young Republican lawmakers frequently sought his advice. Television networks regularly invited him to explain complicated political events. International media quoted his opinions. Political analysts viewed him as one of the Republican Party's most recognizable figures. Supporters praised his experience, his loyalty, his understanding of government, his commitment to national defense. Critics accused him of changing positions over time, especially regarding relationships with different presidents. Lindsey often responded by arguing that effective leadership sometimes requires adapting to changing political realities. Whether praised or criticized, his influence remained undeniable. By this stage of his career, the boy who once washed dishes in his parents' small restaurant had become one of the most powerful lawmakers in the United States, helping shape legislation, confirm federal judges, influence foreign policy, and participate in decisions affecting millions of Americans. Yet with enormous political influence came enormous public attention. Questions about wealth, personal finances, political fundraising, public criticism, and the true cost of power. Those challenges would define the next chapter of Lindsey Graham's remarkable journey. By the time Lindsey Graham had spent decades in Washington, he had become far more than a senator. He had become one of the most recognizable political figures in the United States. With influence came responsibility. With responsibility came constant public attention. Unlike business executives or celebrities, members of the United States Senate earn a government salary. As one of America's senators, Lindsey Graham's official annual salary reached approximately $174,000 per year. Compared to billionaire business leaders, that amount may seem modest, but serving in Congress also brings national influence, public recognition, and opportunities beyond government service. Federal law requires members of Congress to submit annual financial disclosure reports. These reports allow the public to review assets, investments, liabilities, and certain sources of income. Transparency is considered an important part of maintaining public trust. According to public financial disclosures, Lindsey's wealth has primarily come from his Senate salary, military retirement benefits, savings, investment accounts, retirement funds, and carefully managed financial assets accumulated over many decades. Unlike many wealthy politicians, he has never been known as a billionaire or even one of Congress's richest members. Most financial analysts have estimated his personal net worth in the low millions of dollars. Built gradually over a long public career, instead of creating large private businesses, Lindsey focused almost entirely on government service. His investments generally remained conservative: mutual funds, retirement accounts, traditional investment portfolios, rather than risky business ventures. Throughout his career, he also received income from speaking engagements, public appearances, interviews, political events, and occasionally from published written work connected to politics and public affairs. Unlike some former politicians, Lindsey Graham never built his career around becoming a best-selling author or television personality. His primary identity remained that of a United States Senator. Even so, his public profile created enormous visibility. National television networks frequently invited him for interviews. CNN, Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS, political talk shows, Sunday morning programs, international news organizations. Almost every major political event included questions directed toward Lindsey Graham. That visibility dramatically increased his influence inside the Republican Party. His opinions often shaped political conversations. Journalists regularly sought his reaction before publishing major political stories. Inside Washington, his relationships with fellow senators, military leaders, judges, governors, and presidents gave him significant political influence. Young Republican politicians often asked for his advice. Many viewed him as one of the party's most experienced voices on national security, foreign policy, military affairs, and judicial appointments. However, influence always comes with criticism. Over the years, Lindsey Graham became one of the most polarizing figures in American politics. Supporters praised him for his experience, his patriotism, his loyalty to the military, his willingness to defend American interests around the world. Many admired his deep understanding of foreign policy, his support for veterans, and his ability to work long hours studying complex legislation. Others respected his honesty during difficult political debates, but critics saw a different picture. Some argued he changed political positions too often, especially regarding relationships with different presidents. Others accused him of becoming too loyal to political allies. Some believed he compromised too much. Others believed he didn't compromise enough. His positions on immigration, foreign military involvement, Supreme Court nominations, and election-related issues generated intense national debate. Social media amplified every controversy, every interview spread instantly across the internet. Every statement received thousands, sometimes millions of reactions. Support, criticism, praise, condemnation, that became normal. Modern politics rarely allows privacy. For Lindsey, public life meant living under constant observation. Every vote, every speech, every television appearance, every committee hearing, everything became public record. Despite decades of criticism, he continued serving South Carolina. Election after election, voters returned him to the Senate, demonstrating that many people continued trusting his leadership. Whether people agreed with him or not, few questioned his work ethic. Colleagues frequently described him as one of the Senate's hardest working members, reading legislation late into the night, preparing carefully for hearings, traveling internationally to study national security issues firsthand, meeting military commanders, meeting world leaders, studying complex legal questions before major votes. His career demonstrated that political success isn't measured only by popularity. It is measured by longevity, influence, preparation, and the ability to remain relevant during changing political eras. Over more than 3 decades in national politics, Lindsey Graham worked with multiple presidents, served through changing administrations, experienced both Republican and Democratic majorities, and remained one of Washington's most recognizable lawmakers. The young man who once worried about supporting his younger sister after losing both parents had become one of the most influential figures in modern American politics. His career generated respect, criticism, admiration, debate, and controversy, but above everything else, it demonstrated extraordinary resilience. Because surviving personal tragedy, building a legal career, serving in the military, and spending decades in one of the world's toughest political environments required determination very few people ever develop. And that determination would become the defining lesson of Lindsey Graham's remarkable legacy. Lindsey Graham's political career has lasted for decades. Presidents have come and gone, political majorities have changed, national priorities have shifted, yet throughout it all, Lindsey Graham has remained one of the most recognizable figures in American politics. His journey was never easy. He did not come from wealth. He did not inherit political power. He did not grow up surrounded by privilege. Instead, he grew up in a small town, helping his parents run a family restaurant, working long hours, learning responsibility before most children his age. Then tragedy struck. Within a short period, he lost both of his parents. Suddenly, a young man barely beginning adulthood became responsible for raising his younger sister. Many people would have seen only obstacles. Lindsey saw responsibility. That decision shaped the rest of his life. Instead of giving up, he continued his education, earned a law degree, served in the United States Air Force, worked as a military lawyer, entered public service, won elections, and eventually became one of the most influential members of the United States Senate. His career demonstrates that leadership is rarely built overnight. It is built through thousands of ordinary days, long meetings, late nights, careful preparation, difficult decisions, and the willingness to continue working even when nobody is watching. Supporters often describe Lindsey Graham as disciplined, persistent, resilient, prepared. They point to his decades of public service, his deep knowledge of national security, his commitment to military affairs, and his willingness to study every issue before making important decisions. Critics may disagree with many of his political positions. They may question some of his decisions or challenge his changing political alliances. But even many opponents acknowledge one thing: his influence on modern American politics is undeniable. Throughout his career, he helped shape legislation, participated in major national debates, influenced judicial confirmations, worked with multiple presidents, and played an important role during some of the most significant political moments of the 21st century. Very few politicians remain relevant across so many different administrations. Lindsey Graham did. His story also reminds us that public service is really simple. Every decision creates supporters and opponents. Every vote is examined. Every speech is analyzed. Every mistake becomes national news. Living under that level of public scrutiny requires mental toughness few people ever experience. Perhaps Lindsey Graham's greatest legacy is not a single law, or a single speech, or a single political victory. It is the example of perseverance. A young man who lost almost everything refused to let tragedy define his future. Instead, he chose education, service, discipline, responsibility, and hard work. His life demonstrates that leadership is not created by comfort. It is forged through adversity. The greatest lesson from Lindsey Graham's journey is simple. Your circumstances do not have to determine your future. Discipline can overcome hardship. Education can create opportunity. Responsibility builds character. And persistence can carry an ordinary person from a small-town family business to one of the highest offices in American government. Whether history ultimately judges his political decisions favorably or critically, his journey proves one timeless truth. Success is rarely built in a single moment. It is built one decision, one challenge, and one day at a time.